when a person is facing or dealing with unfaced, unaddressed trauma, it hinders them from being the person that they could be, because it has a way in which it blocks you. You're so caught up in a lot of different things. And I'll give you an example. When I got to Oshkosh, I got there in 2005, and they sent me to a building called X building, and that's receiving, where everybody goes through. And I was actually on the top bunk, and there was a guy on the bottom bunk. And ironically, they give you like a little Gideon's Bible, and he was reading his and I was reading mine. And he was older than me, and he looked at me and he asked me, do I know you from somewhere? And I kind of looked at him and I said, no, I don't think so. In the space about 5 minutes went past. And he was like, well, where are you from? And I said, well, I'm from Milwaukee, but I live in Madison. And maybe a couple more minutes went past. And he just blurted out, he was like, is your mother named Melody Hicks? Now, when he said that, my first mind was he's connected to the guy Sonny that I shared with you. And so I started to move real slow off of my bed. I was on the top bunk, he was on the bottom. But there was an anger that came over me that I had never even knew that lived inside of me. But what I recognized was, it was that little boy. And the only difference was the little boy is in a bigger body. And though I knew he was not Sonny, I knew he was connected to him. And so he was still talking and I was still getting off of the top bunk. But I was getting off the top bunk with a very real intent. And it wasn't to fight. I knew this individual, I wanted to kill him. And I didn't want to use no weapon. I wanted to use only my hands, because I knew there was a connection for him to be able to say my mom's whole name. And so as I got up off of the bed, I didn't move fast. I didn't do anything aggressively. And he began to scream and say, wait a minute. He said, wait a minute, wait a minute. He said it a few times. And he started to explain. He was like, when I was a little boy, my uncle, which was Sonny, used to bring me over to your house when you were little. And just for a quick flash of a second, I felt like I would probably never get to Sonny, but he would be good enough. And then it was just like an intervention. No police, nobody even really knew what went on, but it was like a God intervention. And for the first time, I saw myself in another light. And I realized that a lot of times people say that time heals wounds, but that's actually not true. It just lies dormant. And I began to pray. And I prayed about that situation. Not just one time, I prayed about it continuously until finally I felt like I was released from it. So when you ask a question about unaddressed traumas, if they're not dealt with, they will come out in some way, shape, or form.